Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's the first Friday in December. How crazy is that? I can't believe it's December already, the last month of the year, but I'm so excited because I can't wait to be in 2021 when I know that baby Aha is coming next year because it kind of feels weird to say that he's coming next year. Seems like forever away, but it's March, and it still feels like forever away. But today I'm going to share with you one of the things that I actually super love to do, and it is called a one sheet wonder. I love one sheet wonders because they are fairly simple. They let you explore an entire sheet of designer series paper. And there are a few pieces that aren't used, but like some of the one sheet wonders I do use every inch of the paper, which is even awesomer, if that's a word. But this one doesn't actually. There's a few little scraps here and there, which I could probably use on a different project, and I might still do. But today I want to share with you this one sheet wonder, and I made 12 cards from it. One of the other things that I love about this is that it can be adapted to any sheet of designer series paper, and it's like limited supplies. So I picked this sheet of designer series paper. It's a new one, so you might be thinking, what pack did that come out of? This is from the Fine Art Floral designer series paper, which is in the mini catalog that's coming out in January. So of course you guys know I love it. Look at it. Hello, flowers. And then the backside has more of a mosaic-y, plastery. I don't know how to describe this. So if you have a description for this, let me know what that is, because I don't know. I'm not the best at describing things, but and again, this is where seeing the full sheet really helps, because when you just see that little swatch, you're like, oh, that looks nice, but it looks totally different when you see that full sheet. So what I did was I looked at the back of the pack of paper, which I will show you. Here's the back, and it says Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. Below that, it also has every color used in this paper pack. You'll notice that a lot of the colors on this list aren't in this particular sheet, but that's okay. So I'm like, okay, there's a yellow. That's Bumblebee. It says there's a flirty flamingo. I'm not so sure that this gets very flirty flamingo. I would probably call this Mary Merlot, Poppy Parade, and somewhere between Petal Pink and Terracotta Tile is probably where I would go with one of those. And then, of course, the green is Mossy Meadow. There's also some So Saffron in there, which is that Bumblebee So Saffron. I was like, give a little, take a little of the yellow. Now, the samples that I show you actually uses a different sheet of this designer series paper, and it uses Mary Merlot, Petal Pink, and Night of Navy were the three colors that I went with. The other awesome thing is I used this new Many Messages stamp set, and let me tell you guys, it's amazing. So I stamped, again, basic materials, just a few. I did one full stamp of these in Night of Navy and one in Mary Merlot. Die cut it out, and I had all my greetings to choose from for my 12 cards with some left over. A few tips that I did also want to share with you. So it's one giant stamp, and it's also one giant framelit. So I'm going to flip this over because it kind of goes on there backwards. I also realized there's a reason why Stampin' Up! Put the hearts and stars in random places. It's to line it up. When you go to put this down, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I have no clue how to make it normal up here and it's off down here. If you're lining up those hearts and stars, you're golden, and that is amazing. So Stampin' Up! Was using their noggin for that one and helping us out, and it's super, super amazing. One of the other things is you need a bigger piece of paper than you think for this because I kind of cut a little bit bigger than like 4.5 by 5.5 or something like that. And because this top one here is rounded, I actually missed out on using that one on both of them that I stamped because I cut my paper too low that the top part of that scallop got missed out. So you definitely want to use a nice big piece of paper, which I should probably just tell you what that could be by measuring this for you right now. I would go with, 6. So when I said 5.5, I was off. I would go with maybe 6.25 by 5. 5 will do. 5. You could maybe even go 6.25 by 5.25. And you know what? I feel like I want to put that on a Post-it inside this. 5.25 by 6.25. And I'm just going to pop that inside the case so that I don't have to wonder every single time I do it. And I'll remember to tell you guys that too. Hello everyone, welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. I'm excited to share with you this one sheet wonder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pieces of the one sheet wonder and then I'm going to share with you the cards that I made with those pieces. So first we're going to cut this 12 by 12. Let me make sure that my paper cutter is in view. Of course, don't forget that there's only a few more days to sign up for my virtual stamping bingo. I have left a link in the description for that. So get signed up for that because next week is the cutoff date to make sure that everything gets delivered in a timely manner for everyone to be able to participate on December 18th. The other thing that I have in the description box is a sign up to be on my newsletter so you can get a free template for One Sheet Wonders. This template is not one of them that's in that free pack, but it gives you a lot of other great ideas for One Sheet Wonders. So let's get started on this. My first cut is going to be at 5.5. So I'm going to cut at 5.5. Let's see. So my 5.5 is over here, over there, and I'm gonna cut. So this piece I'm gonna set aside. This piece is 5.5 by 12. And I'm now going to cut it at 4.25. So this is 5.25, 5.5 by 4.25. The next one I'm gonna cut at 2.25. So this one is 2.25 by 5.5. The next one I'm going to cut at 2. So this is 2 by 5.5. The next one I'm cutting at 1 3/4. 1 3/4 by 5.5. And the next one at 1.5. Now, you can cut this at 1.5 and you'll be left with a quarter left. Or you can keep it. I'm just going to keep it because there's no rhyme or reason to any of these cuts. I could have cut them all at 2. I could have cut them at whatever I wanted, but I was just kind of going with a different look for each one. So that's why I sort of went with that, difference instead of just doing them all at the exact same measurement. So that one, I'm just going to leave that extra quarter on there so that I don't waste it. So there I have all of those pieces for our first set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually this one I'm gonna cut diagonally and then I'll have 6 pieces with that top piece. So I'm lining up, this corner is in the groove of my cutting line and that one's in the groove of my cutting line. And whoop, I really want my, and then we're just going to go across. So now we have 6 pieces from that top one, and that means we have 6 cards. Okay, so now we're going to bring in this piece. This piece is 6.5 by 12. It's that leftover piece from that original one, and we're going to cut at 1.5. And then we're also going to cut this down to 4.25. So we have 1.5 by 4.25. This piece we're just going to set aside. The next one we're going to cut at 3.5. And then we're also going to cut it down to 4.5. So this piece measures 4.5 by 3.5. And this piece we're going to set aside. Actually, I think this piece I can bring back in because my next one is a 2 by 2 square. And this actually is 2 inches. So we're going to cut it again and get that 2 by 2 inch square. And this piece we'll set aside. The next one is 2 inches by 4 inches. So I'm going to cut at 2 and then trim down to 4. So this is a 2 by 4. And then we need a 1.5 by 4, which this is not big enough. So we're going to do 1.5 by 4. And we want 2 of these. 1.5 by 4. Okay, and then with our leftover pieces, we want to do 1.5 inch squares. So you can get, you need 3 technically, but again, you can see how there's a lot of stuff left over. So you could really do whatever you want with these last ones. So I know that I can get 1.5 by 1.5 out of this one. So 1.5 by 1.5. There's 1. That one's 1.5 by 1.5. There's 2. And here's 3 that I was able to get out of just those scraps. So I technically still have this left over to be able to do whatever I want with it. I can leave it big. It measures 3.5 by 5. So I could always use that as a card front, or I could trim it down into even more pieces. But right now today, I'm just going to show you these pieces and how I created 12 cards. But this is what you have left over. So you could toss all these little scraps and then use this for a 13th card. So then you would have a baker's dozen. Or you could always chop this up and get 16, 17, 18 cards out of it. Lots of great ways to use this one sheet wonder. But this I'm going to set aside now. Hi, Susan. How are you? Welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. Okay. So hopefully I remember which ones to pick out so that I can show you the 12 cards that I made. So after I cut all those pieces, I picked out, you can see I did a different sheet out of the Designer Series paper pack. And I picked out 3 colors that I noticed. So I picked out, you can see, let's look at this one. So you can see on this one, let's ignore this. I mostly see the 3 shades of pink, or the dark red, the pink and the light pink, and the navy and the green. So that's 5 colors, but I just wanted 3. I kind of didn't care for the green. I kind of wanted to go that's kind of like the greenery in the background. Everybody cares about the flower, not the greenery on the leaves. So I picked 2 of the colors of pink, and then I picked the Night of Navy. This paper also has Whisper White in it, but there's a lot of very vanilla too, as you'll notice. For example, this one you can tell there's some very distinct Whisper White, but the background is kind of white and vanilla, or maybe you would even call that the petal pink and stuff. So I used some vanilla with the ribbon and with the pearls, but otherwise all of my greetings I did on Whisper White. Okay, so here's the first 2 cards that I did. And of course, those use those triangles. So I added the ribbon along the edge of the designer series paper and then stuck it on my card front. And then I added a greeting and a little bit of pearls. I didn't add pearls to this one, but I did on this one. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm glad you're liking these. And thank goodness it's Friday, huh? So that then you can have your nice weekend. So here's the first two. And then we have this one. And that uses this piece. And I just did it straight down the middle. Added a little bit of, not designer series paper, but Night of Navy paper. I added a little bit of ribbon there and did the greeting with a few pearls. Then let's see. This one. Yeah, I actually flipped over and used the back side of the paper and went for a little bit of that Night of Navy and yellow because everybody kind of likes the yellow and navy look together. And then I was able to use one of these really long greetings from that stamp set. And I used a little bit of the denim ribbon. I also used one of those hearts that popped out there. This one, I also used that yellow side for one of those long ones. And again, I just went sideways, but you could also do it like this too. And that one's just very basic. I really wanted to foo-foo up these cards a little bit more, but I also wanted to stay with limited supplies and really just enjoy the fact that I only was using those few supplies that were in front of me rather than picking every single stamp set down from the case and all of these things and this, that, and the other. And I really wanted to go basic and simple just to be able to quickly create these cards and show how easy it is to put together a card and how fabulous it still looks. But if you want, you can always do it like this and then foo-foo it up as much as you want. Then this one uses that long strip. And again, the little greeting there, I popped up on dimensionals. For some reason, whenever I do basic cards like this, I really like to rip my cardstock for that texture and like fun flair to it instead of just a straight piece. So it just kind of adds a little bit more to it. And now we're moving into those other pieces. This one I double layered. Whoop, that's not the right one. There it is. Again, I kind of wanted to stamp like flowers on the background, like Night of Navy on Night of Navy, and do like a very basic background to kind of cover up some of this blank space. But again, I wanted to go super simple. This one actually uses those two strips. I will say there's a lot of greetings in this set that are long and skinny. So I really kind of had to work with that. You can see long and skinny, long and skinny, long, 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 long. Like a lot of them are more like long and skinny than they are like fat and big and round or anything like that. You so will have to try it. It's so much fun. Oop, that's not the right piece. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, it must be. For some reason, I guess I didn't cut it all the way off. Either that or I maybe made a mistake on this one. So this one I kind of did that like, I kind of want to call it a T, but where like your focal point and then the sideways. And then that big piece. And those three little squares. Again, long and skinny greetings that I needed to use. And I love that. The scrolly font and thinking of you with sympathy and prayers. The other awesome thing about this set is there's a little bit of everything on there. So to do this one sheet wonder, I literally just made 12 cards for every occasion. Like you could make these 12 cards for a gift, and then you're giving that person, you know, thank you and birthday and sympathy and anniversary and engagement and birth announcement or like anything like that. And then this last one uses that last square. For the inside, I actually just put a piece of Whisper White. I didn't do any stamping. Again, I wanted to go very basic. I might go back though with like a flower stamp set or something, or maybe even just like a filigree image or something, and do a little stamping on like the four corners, possibly stamping something in there whenever it comes time to use it. You know, like it just says hi there, so I could put hi there on the front of the card and put, you know, have a wonderful day or happy birthday or something on the inside and change up to add a little bit more to it. But I also write a lot in my cards, so I'm not that concerned about having a greeting on the inside. But I might put a little foo-foo on there with like a filigree image. But again, I was trying to go very simple, very basic, so that you could see that I used 4 colors of cardstock, if you want to call white a color. So white, Night of Navy, Mary Merlot, and Petal Pink. And I used 1 sheet of 12 by 12 designer series paper. I used 3 different styles of ribbon. I used this Petal Pink and actually maybe just 2. And that denim. Oh, and the lace. So the lace, the denim, and the Petal Pink ribbon. So 3 ribbons and 1 embellishment, pearls. So I really just kind of used the products that I already had on hand and made it work for me to be able to do these cards, and I love it. Again, I made 12 cards. As you can see, from the set that I just cut out, I have a lot left over. Here's one piece of the stuff that I used left over. I don't know where the rest went. I might have tossed them because they were little, or they might have fallen on the floor because they just got pushed off the edge. Who knows? But yeah, I made 12 cards with this one sheet wonder. I did them fairly quickly, I would say. My stamping tends to be kind of in increments, so it wasn't just a one-time sit down because I got the toddler, so when she wakes up from her nap or when my time is up and it's time for my husband to do a little bit of working at home, then I have to stop and put a little pause on it. So I'm not really sure how long it took me, but like I want to almost say like an hour, hour and a half. And again, I kind of have done one sheet wonders before, so I get that. So if it takes you longer to do your one sheet wonder, don't be concerned at all. But yeah, I also am loving this. Like the fact that I didn't have to get out a ton of inks or keep inking and coming back again or wondering if I should punch or do this or do that. I got so many cool labeled images with stamping it twice, die cutting it, and then I just picked from that. Like I just had them here and I dug through all of them and picked one out and off I went. Like it was so amazing. And the fact that they put those hearts and stars in there to help you line it up, I was like, oh, you nailed it. And I figured it out the first time I did it. So I nailed it too. I'm so excited. But yes, I am telling you guys right now, you need this set when it comes out with the January to June catalog in January. So this is going to be a bundle and save. It's 1 stamp, 1 framelit. And let me tell you, you need it. It's amazing. Don't worry. I will be sure to bring it back and talk about it as soon as it's available so you guys can all order it. So don't forget, in the description box, there is a sign up for my virtual stamping bingo because the deadline for sign up is next week. So definitely want to get signed up so that you get your packet in the mail in time. And then I also have a link so that you can join my mailing list. I send out 2 to 3 emails a week, a month. So I'm not spamming you like crazy, just giving you information about specials, promotions, ideas, inspiration, and things like that. But yeah, when you sign up for that, you get a free download of a one sheet wonder. Not this one specifically, but a couple other ones. So you can check that out and try out a one sheet wonder yourself and let me know what you think. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Laura's Stamp Pad, as I have an entire playlist on One Sheet Wonders. So I've done One Sheet Wonders making 48 cards and making, you know, tons of them out of 6x6 and 12x12. So I hope you guys enjoy those. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will be back here on Monday, 12:15, Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys.